Around the world, Maoist rebel groups continue to operate. India's Naxalites, Peru's Shining Paths, and the Philippines' New People's Army are some of the prominent militias that still exist today. Yet a striking puzzle emerges. Why is China, the birthplace of Maoism, supporting the very government fighting these Maoist rebels, rather than aiding ideological comrades? This quote from Xi Jinping captures China's contemporary self-image: cooperative, stability-oriented, and globally engaged. But this identity sits in a sharp contrast to China's Maoist past, when it championed to revolution and armed insurgencies. This presentation examines how China transformed from a revolutionary power into a state that now rejects Maoist principles. To understand this transformation, I use chronological comparative case studies of three eras: the Mao period, Deng Reform era, and the current period under Xi Jinping. I examine China's interactions with Maoist movements in India, Peru, and the Philippines. These case studies illustrate a clear evolution from supporting rebels to adopting strict neutrality in order to actively help governments defeating Maoist insurrections. Under Mao, China treated global insurgencies as ideological allies and extensions of revolutionary missions. Today, however, China prioritizes economic expansion, diplomatic partnership, and global stability. These slides highlight the shift from a state exporting revolution to one seeking markets and cooperative governments. Deng's reforms established a new foreign policy logic. Through the introduction of the free market, China expanded its overseas investments, especially in energy, mining, and infrastructure. Maoist movements became strategic liabilities. The chart presented demonstrates the surging markets threatened by Maoist movements. After Mao's death, Deng Xiaoping fundamentally redefined China's foreign policy. He rejected costly ideological commitments, arguing that economic modernization must come first. China's revolutionary activism has produced diplomatic isolation and limited access to global markets. Deng replaced ideology with pragmatism. The global North and South divide also helps explain why Maoist movements emerged. In regions marked by rural inequality, state weakness, and uneven development like India, Peru, and the Philippines, Maoist ideology gained traction. Yet despite these movements' claims to Mao's legacy, China increasingly viewed them through a foreign policy lens that prioritized state-to-state diplomacy. During the Cold War, Maoist China aided the Naxalite Maoist ideology and insurgency. Early Naxalite groups not only drew inspiration from Beijing, but received military training and weapons. Contemporary China has reversed its stance, cooperating directly with the Indian government. Beijing now offers counterinsurgency assistance, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic support. China's choice to support India over Maoist rebels also reflects the economic benefits both states gain from expanding free trade. The chart above demonstrates how Sino-Indian trade has grown dramatically, creating mutual incentives for stability. By aligning with New Delhi, China protects a major commercial partner, reduces regional risk, and supports predictable market conditions. This chart shows how economic ties between India and China expanded dramatically from the late 1980s onwards. While levels were low during Mao's era, China's export to India surged after market reforms, and India's imports from China grew alongside with them. This rapid rise in bilateral trade demonstrates why China is increasingly valued stable relationships with New Delhi. The images above are meant to depict Chinese neutrality during Peruvian Civil War. The lack of external support prevented it from translating its early military momentum into political authority. Over time, Peru stabilized and China emerged as Peru's most important economic partner. Neutrality in this case generated long-term benefits. Projects such as the Canchai megaport demonstrate how China converted neutrality into significant economic leverage in South America. After the insurgency collapsed, Peru's stability created opportunities for Chinese investment. China became Peru's top trading partner and major investor in mining and infrastructure. This chart shows how China had no interest in supporting Peru's Maoist shining path. By 2024, China became Peru's largest trading partner, accounting for $44 billion in trade, more than the US or the entire European Union. This economic relationship depends on stability, foreign investment, and secure mining operations, all of which Maoist insurgency threatened. In the Philippines, China has gone even further. Facing the Maoist New People's Army, Beijing supports the Philippine government with weapons, equipment, and security cooperation. China's stance reflects a broader strategy. Aligning with established governments strengthens China's regional influence and protects its expanding economic interests. China's positions towards the MPA illustrates a consistent pattern, prioritizing states over insurgencies. By assisting Manila, China reinforces political stability in a strategically important region. This approach fits China's broader strategy of promoting state authority limiting revolutionary conflict and advancing stable partnerships. China's cooperation is also tied to the South China Sea. This region carries one-third of all maritime trade and is essential to Chinese economic security. An insurgency that weakens Philippine state authority risks destabilizing these waters. By arming and supporting Manila, China helps maintain maritime stability, protect trade routes, and strengthen its long-term regional position. On the right, Hamas militants study Maoist literature, proof that Maoism still inspires revolutionary actors worldwide. On the left, Xi Jinping meets with Benjamin Netanyahu, symbolizing China's commitment to diplomacy, trade, and state-to-state engagement. The contrast highlights a central argument. Although Maoism persists globally, China still aligns with stable governments, not insurgent movements. This quote from Xi captures China's modern foreign policy, a model blending strong state control with deep global integration. China's state capitalist system relies on predictable markets and cooperative governments. Supporting insurgencies, especially anti-capitalist Maoist ones, would undermine the very economic framework sustaining China's rise. China's rise is now intertwined with initiatives like BRICS and the Belt Road Initiative. These projects depend on long-term contracts, infrastructure coordination, and diplomatic stability. Revolutionary movements disrupt investment and threaten development corridors, making insurgent movements incompatible with China's global ambitions. Through BRICS and BRIC, China signals integration, not revolution. Across India, Peru, and the Philippines, China's evolution is clear. Where ideology once guided foreign policy, today economic interest, diplomatic influence, and global stability drive China's decisions. China rejects Maoist insurgencies, embraces integration into the political systems of the world. The country's rise now depends on development, stability, and cooperative state systems.